It's time to live your stronger life. Hey, I'm Sammy, physio coach and nutritionist, and your hype girl for creating your stronger life. Here, we ditch the quick fixes and build real strength inside and out. So whether you're here to tone up, drop the body fat, build muscle, mental resilience, or ditch the diet culture, or just feel bloody good in your skin, you're in the right place. So let's get into it. All right, ladies, let's talk about how you're going to thrive through menopause, stay strong, capable, and in control. Menopause gets talked about like it's the end. It's the end of your progress, your energy, feeling strong. It's all over. Your body is done. But it is not starting over. It is not going to ruin your life. Well, it's hard on your life, but it's not here to ruin the rest of your life. It is a refine and reinforce the fundamentals phase. This is where you need to double down on your healthy habits to help carry you through. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about how to eat, train, recover, and think in a way that helps you thrive, not just survive through the menopause era and beyond. So let's look at the big picture. This stage of life isn't about reinventing everything. It's about double downing on what actually works. Keeping it super duper simple. You have to be strength training. You need to protect your bone density and your muscle mass during this time because you are about to rapidly lose it. So strength training, lifting heavy weights is essential. We need to nourish our body, balanced foods, eat the foods you love and have the foods you need. Lots of fruit and veggies and fiber and protein and beautiful stuff, calcium, all that jazz, but keep it simple. Foods you love, foods you need. Try and get quality sleep. That is going to be affected. The night sweat's going to be a little bitch, but you need to try and prioritize your sleep and stress management. Your body responds to stress. We want to manage our stress. Deep breathe, calm. And because usually this time in your life is really hectic with kids and family and work and things like that, stress management is very, very important. Daily movement. Go for a walk, get some fresh air, get some sunshine, and build some emotional resilience. You're going to notice this is the era where you're going to stop really giving a shit about what anyone else thinks, and it's going to be all about you era. And the goal isn't perfection. It's consistency with smart adjustments along the way. Let's define the phases of it just so you understand. So you've got perimenopause, the transitional phase before menopause actually happens. Menopause is just like one kind of, it's like a day and then you're through it, right? So perimenopause is the phase beforehand where hormones are fluctuating, so estrogen starting to decrease. That's where your periods will start getting regular. That's where all the symptoms, because of the fluctuation with estrogen, that is why all the symptoms go havoc on you and where symptoms begin. This can start in your 40s, sometimes earlier, sometimes later. For ladies, it is all very different. There are certain bits of evidence to show about, if you have like multiple pregnancies, that may make it happen a little bit later. If you have quite an unhealthy diet, that can affect the timeline of when it happens. If you're overweight or if you're underweight, like there's different things like that. When your periods first start, when they don't, it doesn't happen for everyone. Genetics, that can be another influencing factor of when it will happen for you, but it also can just be whatever the hell the body wants to do, because the body does what the body wants. Bodies are weird sometimes. And then we've got perimenopause. Then we've got menopause. It is just one milestone. It's kind of a day. It's just like a day. But basically it means you've had 12 consecutive months without a period. Once you have 12 consecutive months without a period, you can kind of say that you have gone through menopause. And then we've got the post-menopausal era, everything after that milestone day. Symptoms usually by this point will start to settle, but your long-term health becomes a priority because you do not have as much estrogen in your body anymore. And estrogen plays such a big role in your life. There are so many things that it does, so you need to protect your health around it. And understanding that this stage helps you respond appropriately instead of feeling blindsided and like your body's just not responding the way it used to, because we just need to treat it a little bit differently now. So why do we get all of these symptoms? The main driver is the drop in estrogen and the changes in progesterone. Symptoms vary based on your genetics, your sleep and stress habits, your nutrition and your movement, your current body composition, and your overall life load. But also, like I said, the body's weird and the body will do what the fuck the body wants to do. So if things feel different, it doesn't mean you're broken. It's because your body is shifting, and estrogen literally impacts like every single thing in your body. Estrogen plays a role in, and that is why the symptoms can be so wide and varied, and sometimes why doctors don't pick up on it, because it impacts on so many different things. You could have some weird symptoms, like some ladies experience like an increase in asthma, or some ladies may suddenly get a diagnosis of an autoimmune disease. Some ladies, it's just the night sweats, or the hot flushes. I just combined the words together. The hot flushes or the night sweats. They may have poor sleep. They may notice fatigue or cravings. They may have, it's maybe the mental health changes, and their moods and their anxiety may be the first thing you notice. The brain fog, the joint aches, your energy changes, your body compositions, your body composition does shift. It's not necessarily like you add body fat, it's the body fat reshift. So you get an increase in abdominal body fat just due to the changes in estrogen. You may notice digestive changes, skin changes, hair changes. New and strange symptoms can absolutely be hormone related, and so it's absolutely worth investigating properly, because that knowledge removes fear. And if your doctor kind of like pawns it off as something different, like fight for yourself. And if you don't like what your doctor is kind of telling you, is that you feel like they're kind of ignoring you, then just go and find another doctor, and find one that does specialize in menopause. Because to be honest, obviously I haven't done a medical degree myself. I'm a physiotherapist, not a doctor, but from all of my research is doctors don't do a lot of studying when it comes to menopause. It's an afterthought. It's a very small component in they've got to learn so much at doctor school. They've got to learn so much. Same as musculoskeletal stuff, they don't do a lot. So if you have an injury, don't go to a doctor to see your injury, because they spend about 5 minutes learning about the body, the muscles and the bones and your joints. We spend minimum 4 years studying. They spend about 4 minutes. Same on menopause. It's just another very small thing. They need to go do extra specialty training to learn enough. So find a doctor that has that extra specialty training, so then they can really understand and listen to you, and you can feel seen and heard, and actually have proper treatment options available for you as well. Now, the big health priorities. This phase is less about aesthetics. Ladies always just want to, look leaner, build muscle, drop body fat, look better, blah, blah, blah. Yes, aesthetics is important, but during this phase, longevity is so much more important. We need to protect your bone density. Osteoporosis risk rapidly increases when your estrogen drops. So we need to make sure we're doing progressive strength training, lifting heavy, not 5 kilo dumbbells. I'm talking proper heavy weights that you can barely pick up for like 8 to 12 reps. We need adequate protein. We need calcium rich foods, and we need vitamin D support. Lifting weights is no longer optional. It is part of your healthcare plan to protect your life. And realistically, you should have been doing it earlier, because that's where you're going to help lay down foundations and build your bones. But it's never too late to start now, and you can really support your bones just by doing those things straight away. Then we also want to protect our cardiovascular health, because health disease risk rises post-menopause. Estrogen plays a role in everything, and your heart health is a really big one. So we want to support it by doing some steady state cardio in your routine, prioritizing fiber, including omega fatty acids like omega-3s, managing your stress, protecting your sleep. Cardio health isn't just about workouts or calorie burn BS. It's about your lifestyle and looking after your heart health. And then if need be, you can also consider HRT. Like, that is also totally fine, but I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Instead, I want to talk about training strategies. So less volume, but keep the intensity high. And when I mean intensity, I don't mean like HIIT interval training. I mean intensity, like lift heavy weights. Because here's where most women go wrong. They try and do the same shit they did in their 20s, where that's where you can get away with the high intensity, high rock style workouts. And for some, they still can. But for others, that is just too high stress. Your recovery tolerance changes. Your sleep quality is affected, and your stress resilience is lower. So instead of trying to train 5-6 days a week, slogging you like destroying your body in the gym, maybe we reduce it to 3 days a week. Maybe we just go 2 sets, but work those sets to failure. Push hard in those sets, but so less total volume, but keep that intensity high. Lift heavy weights. The less repetitions, less total volume. Add walking in, mobility and yoga on the other days to help calm your nervous system. The goal is to stimulate, not absolutely annihilate your body. We want to build strength and bone density, and you don't have to do that by doing hours and hours and hours. In fact, too much is just going to be redundant, and it's going to burn you in the long run. So You need a strategic training program, and you need to be performing it beautifully, full range of motion, because full range of motion, getting strong in the full range, is going to protect your joints at the same time, and progressive overload. And no more little baby pink dumbbells. We want proper heavy lift, heavy grunt and grind, and barely survive that 8 to 12 reps, but just do less volume so that your body can actually recover. Now for your nutrition strategies. Again, no crazy extremes. You actually don't need anything that different to anything I would recommend for a 20, 30, 40, 50 or 60-year-old. Honestly, the differences are not that much. So there's very small tweaks that need to happen between menopause and not menopausal. And this is your era not for aggressive chronic dieting. Long, harsh deficits can worsen your sleep, worsen your mood, worsen your recovery, and worsen your hormonal symptoms. Instead, we want to keep protein high, fiber high, use maintenance breaks regularly, include high carb days strategically. Like, we don't need to cut out the carbs. Reduce alcohol where possible. I'm always going to recommend that. We want to make sure we're getting enough calcium, but just go slow so you can go longer and protect yourself during this era. We do not want to risk losing any more muscle than we're already going to be losing if we're not effectively building it through lifting our weights. The plan is to support your body, not fight against it, and going really rapid restrictive diets is just going to backfire in the long run here. Sleep and stress are non-negotiables. Night sweats plus life stress means everything feels harder. It's also going to affect your appetite. It's also going to affect your cravings. It's going to affect your mood and your energy levels. So we need to really try and prioritize as best as we can consistent sleep routines, breath work or mindfulness, fresh air and sunlight, setting boundaries, saying no, learning that no is a sentence, and social connection. Recovery is now part of your training plan. It should always be, but we need to double down and really make sure recovery is now part of your training plan. Okay, what about supplements? They are supportive, not magic, but some common staple supplements that can really help during this era: vitamin D and K2. Having a magnesium supplement, especially if you're struggling with relaxation at night. There's some other sleepy kind of supplements that you can recommend in here, but magnesium is a really beautiful starting point. Omega-3s, and absolutely you should be taking creatine for your muscle strength, your energy, and also cognitive support. Some women will also respond well to other adaptogens, some don't. If you're on medication or you are considering HRT, speak with a qualified clinician first. Supplements are there to support the basics. They do not replace them, but there are some that may assist in this process that I am not comfortable talking about on here, but there's definitely all different ones out there. It's very personal preference. Some it works, some it doesn't. So it's up to you if you want to try them, but the basics are like your vitamin D and K2 and calcium, magnesium, omega-3s, and creatine. That would be the top dogs that I would definitely recommend during this era. And really for most women, they can get away with those supplements too. All right, so HRT is another one just to consider. Hormone replacement therapy. Now, again, it's not a one-size-fits-all, and it does take time to find the right type and dose for you. And you need to find a GP or a doctor that does specialize in menopause care to help support you to try the different methods. There's pills, there's suppositories, I can't say that word, but you know what I mean. There's patches, there's creams, there's rods, there's so many different types. There's estrogen only, there's estrogen with progesterone, there's all the different combinations and all different levels. There's so much that you can do. And HRT can really help to reduce your symptoms. It can also really help to support your bone health and your cardiovascular health, especially if it started early enough. So I would, if you're open to having that conversation, I would have a conversation with your doctor about whether it is suitable for you, whether you think it would be beneficial, and whether you should give it a go. I can't say whether I'll do it now or not. I'll wait till the more emerging research comes, as I have to worry about it when I'm a bit older. I'm not there yet. But it's definitely something, if I had to consider it right now, it's probably something I would try and take if I could, just to support those other sort of things, especially my bone health. But you need to have this conversation with a trained clinician, not something that it's not something you have to just tough out, because it's not cheating. It's not bad medication. I don't know why it gets a bad rap, honestly. If it's suitable for you and it's going to help you to manage the symptoms, and also protect your heart and your bone, why not? If it's right for you, you have to talk to a professional in that regard. Another thing you just need to really consider during this era, ladies, is progress may feel slower. Sometimes the scale feels stubborn. Sometimes your body composition shifts feel unfair. But zoom out the effect. We want to focus more on your health, Try and prioritize your sleep. Try and prioritize your stress. How's your training volume? How's your training performance? Are you consistent with your nutrition? Are you walking enough? Is alcohol affecting your recovery? This season is about adapting and making progress over perfection and not quitting on yourself and not just stopping because you feel like menopause is kicking your ass. And you know what? Maybe it's less about fat loss right now and it's more about protecting your health through this era, building those healthy habits, and just be supportive and know that maybe the progress is going to go a little bit slow. But again, doesn't happen for everyone. Some people don't even know they go through menopause, and some people it kicks them in the ass. So it's all about don't just go into it expecting anything, and try and just support your body. But the healthy habits that I'm recommending is something you should be doing in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s and beyond. It happens all the time. Lift heavy weights, eat pretty decent, get some good sleep, go for a walk, drink some water. Keep it simple. That should be your base foundation for your whole entire life, not just because you're in menopause or not in menopause. And it's not just about fixing the menopause belly and all this sort of stuff. You need the fundamentals first, no matter what. And then you can play around with some other things to support you based on what era that you're in. Menopause is the era of healthy habits, building strength, and protecting yourself for the long time. It's about refining your strategy, being smart and strategic, protecting your sleep, protecting your stress, and play the long game. Even if your fat loss journey is not going as well as you would like during this era, think about all the other amazing benefits and gains that you can create in this era, this phase. Remember, it is a phase. There is life on the other side of it. Thanks so much for listening. If you found this episode valuable, please rate, review, and subscribe. And I'd love if you shared this on your Instagram and tag me, Sammy_livestrong. And if you'd like to learn more about my coaching and join the Project Livestrong family, please message me, Livestrong, on Instagram, and I'll see how I can help. I'll see you next time.